We are talking Annabellum, The Curse of Salem. This one is directed and written by Carl Rees. Now this is an extremely low budget British movie, and the story here it focuses on this military museum in the English countryside somewhere, and they have come into possession of this antique doll. Now this was in the property of a soldier. This is why it's ended up in a military museum, and this doll originally started its life, so to speak, in Salem during obviously the witch trials, and it's made its way to this quaint English museum, and it focuses on the inhabitants of this museum, the people who work there, the security guard, the admin assistant, the curator, and his niece and nephew. And this doll, very much like the Annabelle movie, seems to be able to manipulate these characters and give them murderous intent. It almost feels like Annabelle meets Night in the Museum is the best way. Maybe I can give you an idea of the plot here. So the focus of this movie, as I say, there's not really a central protagonist as such. It's more of an ensemble piece, and it just really goes to show how this doll affects the characters and ultimately what happens. So first of all, what works? I have to say, setting this movie in a real museum does give it a certain spooky atmosphere. We have seen films that do this before, but I've got to say it just kind of looks this older kind of like property, complete with the kind of like the relics from the past, when we kind of seeing it in kind of low light and things like that. The movie does succeed in having some kind of creepy shots and kind of atmosphere here, and it does give you a sense of the past is out to get you, so to speak. And the doll itself, I mean, there's no real special effects. Well, there's no special effects in this movie, but the doll does look kind of creepy, and I actually quite enjoyed. We have almost like it gives us it almost talks to our victims, and we actually hear the speak, which I kind of quite like. So you almost do feel that the doll has got a bit of a character to it, even though it doesn't move. It's just a static doll. The fact that we hear what the doll is saying to these people that it is affecting, I thought was quite fun. Okay, but that's really as far as I can go with my positives for this one, because unfortunately this movie is just so, there's just nothing really there, I have to say. First of all, the story is just very slight. There's nothing really to it. It's mercifully a very short running time, but there's no real, it's just people being possessed one night. That's the movie, that's it. There's no anything more than that. We don't really have a central protagonist as such, so you don't really follow a particular person and see it from their kind of point of view. The acting is somewhat lackluster, is the best way I would say this, with kind of trying to be as kind as I possibly can. As I've mentioned, there are zero effects, but the film tries to kind of get around this by having almost like disco video effects, is the best way I can describe it. And I feel that it would have benefited from not having that at all. The doll itself, like I've said, is a little disappointing, and it's kind of like, it's deliberately made to kind of look creepy. Oh look, it's got kind of like these black tears that are sort of coming down its face and things like that. I actually kind of enjoyed the exposition of the Salem witch trials, but it is exposition. We don't ever see this, and it's a case of, obviously with a movie, it's a visual medium. We need to show, not tell. But this movie tells and not shows, which I think is a mistake. And again, I probably put that down to a budgetary reason, but that's the reality of a film. It's not a book. It's a visual medium, and because we don't really get a central protagonist, we never really get any kind of sense of character. I guess the creator, this older gentleman, is the closest we get to a central protagonist, but he didn't have a lot to do, to be honest with you. Ultimately, this movie is, it does have some visual flair to a point, there's just nothing to it. There's just not enough going on. There's not enough story there. The acting, unfortunately, is relatively poor. Some of the kind of the production here in regards to the video effects was a bad idea. So it's really not a particularly fun movie to watch. It just is pretty dull at the end of the day. The story is very predictable. As I said, there's a couple of small elements that I did enjoy, but I don't think it's enough to give it anything other than the best I can give it is probably a 4 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.